New analysis of foreign aid to the Pacific Islands has confirmed Australia remains the most generous donor to the region. Figures compiled by the Lowy Institute shed new light on the debate about Beijing's use of chequebook diplomacy to outspend Australia and unsettle its ties with island nations. Stephen Jedgetts explains.
The Pacific's meant to be the main target of Australia's aid, and the numbers prove it's hitting its mark. Australian taxpayers shelled out almost $9 billion in foreign aid to the region over the last 6 years, easily making Australia the biggest donor. It's almost 6 times the amount given by New Zealand and China, sitting in second and third.
What this project has shown with very painstaking research is that China's aid investment in the Pacific isn't quite as high as you might expect.
That's the reality, but perceptions don't always match. Australia's aid is spread far and wide across remote islands, usually for health, education, shelter or sanitation. China's, on the other hand, typically goes to big infrastructure projects, impossible to miss: wharves, parliament buildings and roads. On average, these are 10 times larger than similar projects Australia funds. And the financing's different too. Lowy's found 70% of Beijing's aid comes in the form of cheap loans, which will one day have to be repaid.
Some of the countries in the Pacific have in fact stopped accepting these concessional loans, with some countries like Tonga, for example, finding recently that they couldn't get those debts written down. So that can create unsustainable levels of debt.
There is competition to win hearts, minds and friendships, and it'll only intensify. China's declared its ambition to pump billions of dollars into the region, and that could close the gap between it and Australia. But Pacific nations shouldn't bank on being showered with money. In fact, the total amount of foreign aid has dropped in recent years, a recognition by donor countries that when budgets are tight, charity tends to begin at home.